New jingle, new voices. Welcome to this special guest season of Retrain Your Brain with me, chartered psychologist Dr. Audrey Tang. In this season, I am privileged to speak to so many well-being guest experts to learn all about their field and to give you loads of practical tips and tools to live your best life. Now, maintaining our health as we get older is not just about doing all the right preventative things or seeing a doctor when we need to. It is as much about how we feel. And say what you like, but sometimes it's the little things that matter. A good hair day, a good skin day, that can make all the difference. And certainly, if I feel my skin is dry or worse than that, oily, it can really make me want to hide away. And I've noticed that as I've got older, my skincare routines have had to change. Now, at NLive, we love to bring you expert advice from the best. So I am delighted to welcome one of the UK's best known and best qualified beauty and skincare experts, Gina Akers, for Hada Lobo Tokyo, makers of next generation skincare for all life stages. And you can find out more about them at www.gettheglowuk.com. Welcome to the lounge, Gina.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
I'm so looking forward to learning everything from you. Now,
definitely.
I'm going to start with a bit of a personal question.
Okay.
Why does my skin change, especially now I'm in my 40s?
Well, a lot of things happen as we go through the different sort of phases of our lives. And when we get to our 40s, that's quite a prevalent one. Reason being, when we get to our 40s, our collagen production begins to reduce. So we can't produce as much collagen in the skin. Also, elasticin as well, that decreases in the skin. And then something else that's really important that decreases in the skin is hyaluronic acid. Now, hyaluronic acid is something that's naturally in the body and naturally in the skin. And if you think about the word hyaluronic suggests moisture, suggests water, and that is exactly what it relates to. It's it affects how the skin retains moisture. And of course, when skin is retaining moisture, that's how it looks youthful, it looks moisturized, it has that lovely glow. And of course, if we can't produce that hyaluronic acid as much anymore, that's when we start to notice dryness and these changes in our 40s.
And it seems to get worse, or at least it has for me, as you get into perimenopause and the start of menopause. And the reason I bring menopause up is because we don't talk about it enough. And now I've mentioned it on a third show, and I'm quite proud of being able to do that. But why is it that our skin is affected so much when menopause begins?
You start to have some changes in perimenopause, and then obviously that really takes hold as the menopause becomes more prominent. So what happens is the skin, all the things I've already mentioned, the collagen, the elasticin, the hyaluronic acid, they're all affected because there are other hormonal changes happening in the skin as well. So we have levels of estrogen change, and that's quite a big deal for the body. And of course, anything that happens to the body is reflected in the skin. If we're going through a stressful time in our 20s, maybe we're moving house, maybe our job's very stressful, it's reflected in our skin. Perhaps we're not getting enough sleep, it's reflected in our skin. So when we have the menopause, and all these factors happen as well. Our sleep's affected, perhaps our diet's affected because our tastes have changed, temperature regulation.
Yes.
All these things that are happening to the body are then reflected in the skin as well. In addition to just the sort of general aging process of the skin, you have all this happening with the menopause too. So it's a big, big transformative time.
So what can we do to protect our skin, perhaps at all ages, but notably as it changes as we get older?
Well, that's the good news. There is a lot of things you can do with the menopause is that feeling of kind of not having the control, because it's something you don't have a lot of control over. And there's so much going on. That if you can find something that can help and that you can also rely on and feel confident that it's the right thing to be doing as well, then that makes it a whole more positive situation. Now with the skin, we can definitely do that. And a range that I love working with is Hada Labo. And Hada Labo is all about hyaluronic acid. It actually has, in majority of the products, most of the products, 4 different hyaluronic acids, including one that they've created themselves, because it's a Japanese skincare philosophy. And what they've done is they've really thought through every element and thought through the science. Now, during menopause, that's what we need for our skin. It doesn't matter if it smells nice, the packaging looks nice, and it claims this or that. We have to know it's going to do this or that. We have to know the ingredients have been thought through by experts scientifically, and that the science has been applied, and that we can trust that what we're using is going to help, and we can use it with confidence. And that's the great thing about Hada Labo, particularly, I mean, it's great for all skin ages and all skin types, but particularly in menopause, when you need that, something you can rely on the most, because everything else is changing, and you need a skincare range that can work with the skin in synergy.
I love that. And I really love your point about having something that you can rely on, because a skincare routine can be a lovely mindful ritual at the beginning or at the end of the day, or both. And if you're doing that and you can see that it's doing something for you, that's got to add to our mental well-being. And with any products, is there a specific product type that we should be using? Should we be trying a moisturizer first, or a toner, or a cleanser, or does it not matter?
Majority of the time with most skincare brands, and I'm saying this from my beauty expert point of view and skincare expert point of view, they're usually designed, the products in a brand are usually designed to work in synergy together and work together. However, what we do say is that you can use other product ranges with Hada Labo if you wanted to. Again, I couldn't speak for other brands right now because I'd have to know which the brand was, but certainly I can say for Hada Labo you can do that. So if you do have perhaps a skincare oil or another skincare product which you know and love, and you're still very comfortable and happy with and at ease with, you can carry on using that without any concerns that there's going to be an issue or a problem. When it comes to which products, I would say if you're looking at just one product to start with, obviously we're always thinking about hydration with menopausal skin. That's the key thing. And because obviously dryness is one of the problems that really comes along with menopausal skin. So obviously the two go together. If we can replace that hydration and enhance that hydration even more, then we're not going to have such an issue with dry looking skin and dryness issues. And if you were going to start with one product, I would suggest, I'm actually picking it up now, and I know this is on radio and you can't see this, but I'm picking it up, and I would suggest this, the Hada Labo lotion, which is a super hydrator lotion. And we might have some sound effects there, because I'm actually putting it on the back of my hand because I actually love putting it on my hands. It absorbs in so easily, and I know it's naughty and it's probably a little bit luxurious for this, but I like using it as a hand cream. The reason being, if I'm at my desk and I'm working, it soaks in easily, and I've not got greasy hands when I'm trying to type or write. I haven't got that issue of waiting around for my hand cream to soak in. So I love it for that purpose. The other thing that's really crucial about this is it's very cooling. So if you are having those warm feelings, shall we say, it's very cooling on the skin, and that obviously is a real relief and really, really nice sensation to have. And that's the kind of hero product that in Japan, Hada Labo is possibly the largest of the anti-aging skincare ranges. It's hugely popular. It's one of those ranges that you hear about that you can't get your hands on until now, which is great. So you have it in the UK now. One other product I will mention, because this one is it's quite an important one, and there's a reason for that. And that is the Repair Night Cream. Again, if you could see me, I'm holding it now. And I'll give you the science elements, because that's the fun bit. And again, this is completely unique. It's all about layers of ingredients that work in synergy with each other, and all about these hyaluronic acids. Now, the hyaluronic acids they have, in particular, there's a super hyaluronic acid. And what that does is it's been created, and this is where they've got very clever, at a smaller molecule size, so it can actually penetrate the skin further, which is exactly what we need. Because if we need hyaluronic acid in our skin, and that's what's going to combat the anti-aging, that's what's going to give the hydration, that's what's going to combat the dryness, that's what our skin needs to have, that that natural, beautiful looking glow and to feel good and comfortable. It's a far more natural way of doing it than oils and heavy ingredients, but also it's actually working. It's there for a reason. Every ingredient is there for a reason. It's working. It's doing something for us and penetrating the skin to lock in that water content. And that is basically what hyaluronic acid does. Its purpose is it attracts and binds water molecules. And when it does that, if your molecules are small enough, it increases the water content in the skin.
And that's one of the most important things to hear sometimes, that we don't often get told. Actually, to really learn from you and to understand that is what our skin needs. And this is why, if we're piling all kinds of different products or old products or things that aren't maybe suitable for our skin as it is now, why it's so important to understand how the science works. And I think that's been so helpful. It's certainly been so helpful for me. So thank you so much for that. So my last question, why is it so important that we feel good about ourselves from the inside out?
It's intrinsic. Beauty, image, well-being, feeling good, and your mental health, that they're all connected. We're not, 8 elements of us as a being are not isolated elements. They all interlock and fit together. If you look good, you feel better.
Yes.
If you feel good, people say to you, oh, you're bright today, you look amazing, you're glowing, you're wonderful, and you get those comments. So it makes complete sense. Go back to the menopause for a moment. Obviously, there's so much going on, and there's so much that you feel you don't have control over, or you've got so many questions, and it's quite stressful.
Yeah.
It's going to raise those stress levels. So if there is anything that you can do that is positive, and that's a step that you can be in control of, then that's a great thing, and that's going to help with your mental health and well-being. We help with the mental health and well-being. We help with the appearance too. It's not just skin deep. It's all about looking after the mind as well, and emotions and feelings. You do have to consider the whole self, the holistic self. And I suppose from a mental health side of things and well-being side of things, whenever I meet someone or speak to someone who isn't having a very good time, and whatever it might be the menopause, it might be work, it might be exams, it might be moving house, family things, whatever it might be, I always say, well, things are always changing every time, all the time. Tomorrow will be a bit different today, and next week will be a bit different to this, and you can't stop that. There's nothing you can do. That's life. It's just nature. It's the way the world works, and we can't stop that. So don't think because today feels not great, and like it does, that it's always going to be that way. Things are always changing. So that means those feelings can change. That's the proof. That's the evidence that way you're feeling right now isn't a permanent thing. Yeah. Everything is transient and changing. Mental health, our well-being changes with it.
Oh, Gina, thank you so much. Where can we find out more? Maybe read a little bit more about the science of Hada Labo, or explore the product range?
You can explore the product range on the Superdrug website online right now. As I say, you can go into the stores and have a look as well. Also have a look at the social media. Hada Labo has social media platforms as well, easy to find on Instagram and Facebook as well. So yeah, so have a look on there, and any questions, always ask the experts, always get in contact. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Gina.
You're welcome.
And that's all we have time for. But if you'd like to find out more, do go to my website, which is www.draudreyt.com, and check out my articles, which give you practical tools to live your best life. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Audrey Tang, Tools to Thrive.